Hi, my name is Hunter Rittgers, and I'll be reflecting on my new student dialogue, The Power of Privilege. Overall, I think that my group did achieve true dialogue, even though the participation could have been a little better. But everyone was listening actively to whoever was talking and wasn't afraid to share what they had to say. And I feel like it was a relatively safe atmosphere for people to talk openly without feeling like people would judge them. There was really none of that during it, but there were definitely more active voices in the dialogue. There were people who would talk over and over again and wouldn't be afraid to say what they had to say. But then also definitely more reserved voices because there's about 2/3 of the group who just didn't want to say anything and were silent for most of it. But I think our discussion leaders did a good job of getting people to talk and allowing people to want to participate. I personally talked more than most people. I usually am really shy. I don't like to talk in front of people, especially in front of a big group. But with people not talking, I felt like I needed to say something because there would be awkward silences for a couple 30 seconds to a minute at a time. So then I would try and put something out there. But I think it was definitely important. I think that this was a good thing to do, and I think it's a part of the Library 100 because it's important for us to get comfortable speaking in front of people, especially because in college you're going to need to do that a lot, and in the workplace after college, speaking in front of people and being comfortable talking to other people openly is really important. I think it'd be really useful for me, especially because communication is a field that I'd be interested in going in. So I definitely think it is a good thing to do and is really helpful. For my dialogue personally, the subject, the power of privilege, I thought that was really interesting because it really caused you to reflect. Like we had to do a chart where we had to put down our ethnicity and our race and our religion, and for me personally, I don't think about that kind of stuff a lot. It's not really a big part of my life, so it was really interesting to sit down and really think about all the different aspects of my life that really separate people, and some people are discriminated against because of it, and some people aren't given the opportunities that I'm given because of these specific characteristics. And it was just interesting to really see what different people put down and to really have to think about how would I classify myself. But I think that there was also another activity where we had to pick out what characteristics would really help a person, like the top 3 that would help someone in our society and the top 3 that would really drag them down or be a setback for them. And a lot of the groups picked the same things, and that was specific races or being uneducated or things, or not having or social class, which was really kind of interesting to me because you don't really think about how present those kinds of things are in our society and how people aren't given certain things because of those characteristics, which so it was just good to think about that kind of stuff. But overall in the group, I think our discussion leaders did a good job of really getting us to think about that kind of stuff and leading us in really pointing out how those things are important in our society. I would definitely recommend something like this to people if they're not used to speaking in front of others, because it was a really carefree environment. There wasn't a lot of pressure to say. You could just say what you wanted to say without people thinking they're going to judge you, which is always an important thing when you're going to talk, because one of the major reasons people don't like to speak in front of other people is because they're afraid of what other people might think or whatnot. So this was a really good opportunity to realize that it doesn't matter what other people are present. You can say what you want, and people, even if they don't agree, they're not going to put you down or anything. So that was a good aspect of the discussion. So overall, I think the experience was good, and it was something that will be helpful because I learned how to discuss rather and without having to argue or without having to really um, put your opinion completely out there, and instead just discussing a subject rather than arguing over who's right and who's wrong. So I think that this was good for me, and that's it. Thank you.